Good morning. Today we talk about narcissism, psychopathy, and the so-called proto psychologists. This means people who were psychologists before the scientific or pseudoscientific category psychology was even developed. So a proto psychologist is the precursor to that what today is a psychologist. These were the people who developed the discipline psychology. And I will mention today, in this context, Fyodor Dostoevsky and Friedrich Nietzsche. And we will observe the today categorized and described personality disorders, narcissism, and psychopathy under the lens of the works of Dostoevsky and Nietzsche. On my channel, I have already noticed that I was surprised that Nietzsche did not describe or stumble over narcissism and isolated it, but I came to the conclusion that Nietzsche is not the philosopher with the broadest scope, and he was not making a finished product, but an open source product that is like a flash, dividing that what is there and creating strides where we look into infinity, and he leaves it open as an open source project for the philosophers coming after him to finish the impulses he gave us. Therefore, he is often too provocative. He is not concerned with details or moderate expression or relative, he is not trying to he's not careful. He just says, he's not saying, oh, maybe we have devalued God and our lifestyle looks like we have lost the connection to even believe in things that could be right. Or no, he says God is dead and we have killed him. So this is Nietzsche, and therefore we have, as a reader that comes very new to Nietzsche, we have strong resistance when we read what he is saying, because it's just from another planet. It's strong, and one needs to understand, to appreciate the changes in thought that Nietzsche initiates in you. That's what you realize it just later. So you read Nietzsche, and then you think, well, that's too much. I can't take it. I can't digest this, and I can't. You will be very skeptical, careful, but it's got a strange. It is a strange fascination, because what is so different to everything else? It's a new taste. It's a unique taste, his style and way to think. It's breathtaking. He is the master of changing angles and the point of view to points of view that are absolutely unknown, because we are programmed to work and think in rigid patterns that are imposed on us by the Zeitgeist and Weltanschauung that we're living in. Oh, German. Okay, now, so I have already noticed, I was wondering, why did he not figure out, isolate narcissism, psychopathy? Because he wasn't looking for diseases, he was looking for cures, for health, he had another scope. his scope is very far, and he also does not look for excuses, you know. He don't point fingers and say, you know, he is working on himself, however. So I'm not going further in this description. Hope you understand what I'm saying. His scope was too far to wait for this, so he did not want to analyze psychology. People came after him that were most likely deeply influenced by his thinking patterns and styles, and they then made this work. So the open source approach works. Nietzsche is the father of many thinkers and even disciplines. One could argue he was part of the development of new scientific disciplines like psychology. So he's a proto psychologist, just like Fyodor Dostoevsky. And this man has described narcissism, in my opinion, because I started to read notes from the underground, and I stated it could have the subtitle Confessions by a Malignant Covert Narcissist. Because wherever you open a book and you start reading, no matter on what place you are, and you get the vibes of a highly vulnerable, hyperconscious person that is not able to act because they are simply caught in a fantasy of their own inner world. Um, and I could go on and on and on. This is all carrying these tendencies, including the masochistic side as well as the sadistic side of them, and so on. So, this is why they are called proto psychologists, because psychology was not even invented, yet they already singled out these dark drives and dangers of the human psyche. And even before the term narcissism was even, first one has to develop psychology as a scientific subject, and then one can start to find out mental pathologies like personality disorders, like narcissism, and then one can create the criteria for this. But even before all of this happened, Fyodor Dostoevsky already isolated exactly this pattern that is called um, malignant covert narcissism today. And that is genius. Um, Now I want to frame my message this way today. Let's assume the underground man from Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from the Underground, the person. By the way, it's a great way to transcend your experiences with these type of spirits to read this book. So it's not just a personal thing that you experienced, but it helps to transcend the conflict in the later uh, steps of healing and integrating your experiences. But when we see this as one side of a spectrum, the covert malignant narcissist, from Fyodor Dostoevsky, on the other side, Nietzsche. By the way, I will make a video where I take Nietzsche and Carl Gustav Jung and put them in a similar fashion, but as another topic. And we take Nietzsche on the other side with his will to power philosophy, where he takes Napoleon Bonaparte as an example of what he admires as master, kind of someone who follows, expresses master morality, and embodies the will to power. And here is a criticism of me. in Nietzsche's philosophy, um, that Nietzsche struggled in his life and never made the step, as I also already have mentioned in other videos, to combine the will to power, as he describes it, and takes Napoleon Bonaparte as an archetypal expression of that. He never manages to find the missing ingredient of forgiveness, compassion, unconditional love in this archetype, because Napoleon Bonaparte was pure will to power, and in my opinion, as such, it is dysfunctional and self-defeating in the end. Nietzsche, however, had also the concept of the Übermensch, and Nietzsche was fully aware that the Übermensch needs the ability to forgive and love and respect. So, in the first place, the root of respect for others and love for others and forgiveness towards others is respect to self, love to self, and forgiveness towards oneself. And Nietzsche was fully aware that a person that is overcoming many troubles in life and lives a purposeful life needs these qualities. He said, man is a dirty stream, and one must be an ocean to take in this dirty stream without becoming dirty oneself. The Übermensch is this ocean. So, Jesus Christ, by the way, deeply impressed Nietzsche. And the Übermensch is simply another iteration of Christ, in my opinion. Nietzsche thought Christianity has maneuvered itself in a dead end, or the belief in this God. Therefore, Jesus is also maybe corrupted by this, or for some reason he felt like he has to develop a new concept for people who can't believe in Jesus. They now can evolve this idea of the Übermensch, but for me it's the same, basically. So yeah, Nietzsche never figured out that the pure will to power is a psychopath, and therefore it's dysfunctional and self-defeating and not serving life. Nietzsche also, like me, has as a foundation of his philosophy and way of thinking life itself. So to serve life and bring life forward, life-affirming philosophy. And there was this contradiction in his philosophy that he did not solve or dissolve. So I repeat it. The will to power, as Nietzsche sometimes describes it in his philosophy, is nothing but psychopathy. It is unempathetic, it is unforgiving, it is goal-oriented, highly strategic, not self-reflecting, just acting goal-oriented. And this is Napoleon. Napoleon was not forgiving, Napoleon was not loving, Napoleon did have no self-reflection about what he does is maybe wrong, or he might be a little bit more careful. No. He was psychopath, right? And yeah, and Nietzsche felt an admiration or a strange fascination by that. But also, yeah, and again, this is the contradiction. He never made this connection to it. So what's the problem here? Maybe it's a little bit too much because he has this broad scope. He is looking with his X-ray vision through things and just states them in a brutal way without the details, okay? Now we have two extremes. We have the description of the underground man from Fyodor Dostoevsky on one side, and we have the will to power embodied by Napoleon on the other side. We have one person that is unable to act in any way, caught up in fantasy, inner monologue, endless, infinite inner monologue, and we have a person that is not conscious at all, that is not reflecting about anything, just acting, goal oriented, a psychopath. On the other hand, these are two pathological, dysfunctional, self defeating um, extremes, but both are not human beings, in my opinion. Okay? In other words, if you take a person that is goal oriented, action oriented, um, this person needs a little bit more self reflection and compassion and care and respect for the boundaries of other human beings. They need to understand, where does my freedom end and the freedom of another person begin? Where does my body end? Where does my influence end? Where where do I end and where does the world begin? The person here on the other side that is simply reflecting, trying to rationalize, moralize, thinking in contradictions and so on, just thinking and never being able to act. This person needs more reason to act, needs restriction, needs much less self reflection. This person is only reflecting. So, I just want to give you this observation of myself and the current state of my thoughts. Um, I will go in deeper analysis of the underground man, as the underground man, if we don't look at this person as a covert, malignant narcissist, we could also see this person as a human being that is robbed, stripped of spirituality, of soul, of heart, of something beyond rational thinking. It's a person, is a modern man. This modern man can be educated, can have everything except passion, love, unconditional love, a concept of unconditional love, um, and a spiritual, religious connection to the universe and the environment around them. This is not there. It is gives space for a hyperconsciousness that swallows up everything, and the consciousness is nothing but a frame. And in this frame, there is a language model, like an artificial intelligence, chattering, in other words, in psychological language, introjects. Um, and in this vacuum, in this black hole, in this absence of anything else, there is an endless monologue or dialogue of these introjects that's part of sometimes they can contradict each other. So this represents real overthinking and analyzes, paralyzes, and it even shows that under these circumstances, the negative side takes completely over. Um, in these circumstances, people develop joy in suffering and joy in making other people suffer. So this all of this is described in Notes from the Underground. So this is a suffering of the modern man that is only rational, and that is only rational and stripped of all spiritual, natural religious connection, purpose, or the concept of love. Yeah. So there's interesting dynamics. There is, like in covert narcissist and psychopath, there is strong differences where we can tell them apart in extreme ways, but at the same time there's also similarities that we could work out. I don't want to do this in this video. I've done it in other videos already. Thank you for listening. I think I have summarized the topic. Hope I could inspire some people here. Thank you for listening. And just as a side note, um, there's also a strong attraction between this couple, this these archetypes, or these these types. Um, so a covert narcissist needs a psychopath because the psychopath has the goal and the reality testing and can extract supply from the world, while the psychopath needs um, a slave, a servant that completely gives in and is 100% controllable. So they have a strange attraction, these two complete opposites. Yeah. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.